Oh boy, Player Essence is at it again. He is sat there and showing, or he is proving, that he is against the consumer. And also, he exposes himself towards the end of the video. Let's check it out.
What's the most popular bundle for the Nintendo Switch 2 right now?
There's only one bundle. It's the Mario Kart World Bundle, so of course that would be the most popular bundle.
It's the Mario Kart World Bundle that's actually $50, not $80. So
yes, it does appear that you're getting it for cheaper, but one thing you're negating to say is that you're getting ripped off on the console itself because you're paying almost $120 more compared to another country. And it really doesn't matter if you buy it in the bundle and you're only getting it for $50 because the game is still set at $80. So when you pay for that game, even at $50, you're still showing Nintendo it's okay to sell that at $80.
A large portion of people that are even buying the Nintendo Switch 2 are getting it for not $80, they're getting it for $50.
It doesn't matter if you're sitting here paying it for only $50 versus $80. It's still showing them it's okay to set that at $80, and then the rest of the gaming industry is going to follow suit.
Because you don't like the price of the game individually, you ignore the bundle, which most people do.
You're also ignoring a very key important part of that bundle. You're also ignoring how much we're getting ripped off compared to another country on the console itself.
When they want to try to make their point, that's fine. We won't ignore it. We'll go over all the information.
I seriously doubt that you're going to go over all the information. You tend to only go over the information that sides with your viewpoint.
I get you, it's $80. I don't like the $80 price tag either.
Well, good. If we all don't like the $80 price tag, that means we all can step forward, refuse to pay for it, show Nintendo it's not okay to price it at that, right? There's not going to be nothing else left to do.
But, once again, most people are going to buy, if they want the system, or if they want Mario Kart, if they like it, they're going to buy the bundle.
Okay, save $30 on the game, but then overpay for the console. I guess that's okay with you because you don't really care.
Once again, don't like the price in terms of the individual, physical, or digital separate price outside of that.
Well, you always sit there and say that, but guess what? Your actions show differently. Most people go off people's actions, not their words.
Once again, there is a bundle at least till the end of the year, and that's what most people are buying overall.
Keep saying that. Keep glossing over the fact that the console itself is overpriced compared to Japan, but that's okay. We all know you don't care. See, because we all know that you don't care that the price of the console is more overpriced in another country. That means that even if they didn't have the bundle, we all know that you would have sat there and bought the game at a full $80. So it's not like this changes anything.
To think that because the Switch 1 is the best-selling system of all time.
Well, OJ, if you would do a very simple Google search, you will sit there and see that you are wrong. And you probably know you're wrong, but you so badly want Nintendo to be like this greatest company ever that you have to sit there and make a claim like that because the Switch is not the greatest selling console of all time. Their greatest selling console of all time is actually the PS2 at 160 million units. Nintendo Switch has 152 million units sold worldwide. Still a good number, but not the greatest selling console of all time.
The $80 for me is obviously not going to matter. So you have to think about it from the lens of a regular user, right? You got to think about it from the lens of that.
Yeah, that's very true. But the thing is, you don't sit there and think of it like that. I remember in the debate, you sat there and said, oh, well, I used to do game reviews. I don't know if you still do, but I know if you do a game review, especially on Mario Kart World, you're not going to look at it through the eyes of the consumer, which honestly, that's the whole point of a review, is to give the consumer, a reason to buy it or not to buy it. But if you don't look at it through their eyes, what you're doing is you're not giving a good review. It's not a fair review.
For me, for Mario Kart in particular, because I run my stream, we're going to do Mario Kart Mondays, like people subscribe, like the $10 doesn't matter to me, but once again, for other people, I still understand, like I get that, but I still didn't even want to do.
Well, it doesn't really matter if you didn't want to do the $80. In my opinion, I do believe that you would have paid the $80 if they didn't have the bundle.
The $80, even though obviously I could do it, it's no big deal. But like, I still didn't even want to do it. That's why I did the bundle instead,
You keep saying that, but in my opinion, I believe you just keep bringing up that bundle as an excuse to save face to your audience.
If they wanted to lower it to 70, they can lower it to 70 right now. They just wanted it at 80 because the game is big and they know they can get 80 for it from a lot of people.
And how can you be okay with that? How can you be okay with greedy corporations ripping off the consumer? They're ripping off your fans and your subscribers. How can you be okay with that?
The cartridges cost more. The development cost is obviously more.
Well, number one, whose fault is it for picking those expensive cartridges? I'm pretty certain that they could have invested that money instead of making a new cartridge. They could have made a new disc, like a small, like PSP type disc that might have been able to hold all that data. But no, they chose to go with the cartridges. No one told Nintendo that they had to go with them. They made that choice. So why should we suffer because they made a bad business decision?
But you see Vigilante's post, he apologized for misusing the word brainwashing. Well, he took the vids down. He told me that he would do that, you know?
Yes, I did, because when I say I'm going to do something, I'm a man of my word.
I'll say it once, I'll say it again. He's kind of weird.
Well, you can say that I'm weird, but at least I have integrity. At least I don't attack people's families.
I'll give him credit for showing up to the debate. Like, once again, like, that takes...
Yeah, and I would give you credit and give you respect if you actually were a man of your word and actually had some integrity.
Brave, or you got to be a little, you know, I think he was probably it was a little bit of a combination of not quite smart enough and brave.
Hey, I will firmly admit that I did not come prepared to that debate. That was my fault. I should have came better prepared, but what's your excuse? You didn't come prepared. You even actually exposed yourself later in this stream. Just wait, I will show it to you guys. He literally exposes himself that he did not come prepared and that he had Prime prepared for him. Now, I will firmly admit, Prime came prepared. Prime did get me on a lot of facts. If anything, OJ did not cook me. Prime cooked me. I will firmly admit to that one.
You know, the not smart part was taking on 2 seasoned content creators that are professional talkers.
Yes, I took on one seasoned talker like Prime who actually knew what he was talking about, but you love to say that you're the seasoned talker. You love to sit there and talk that you're a news-based channel, but through this live stream, you have made claims that were false. You didn't sit there and research anything. And you didn't even come prepared for that debate. You let Prime come prepared and you leached off of him because you gave absolutely no facts to support anything you said. Prime came in and said facts and you just leached off of him. So why do you keep sitting there saying that you're this seasoned, talker? I'll give you one thing. You are a seasoned shit talker. You know how to sit there and yap a lot and make it seem like you know what you're talking about. But if it wasn't for Prime, you would have fell flat on your face the whole damn time.
Me and Prime are the most talkiest motor mouths.
I would say you're a motor mouth. Prime talks when he has to. Prime talks when there's a reason. You talk for absolutely no reason just because you love hearing yourself talk.
Nintendo content creators we're like the most motor mouth annoying ones, bro. Me and Prime, we sit here and talk all for damn 3-4 hours per day.
There probably have some people have sat there and said that about Prime, but I do not recall anybody ever saying stuff like that about Prime. Usually, when I hear people complain about Prime, it tends to be his rules in his live stream, but that's really about it. With you, I have heard so many different complaints under the sun that you can think of. Almost any complaint you can think of, I've heard about you.
We're seasoned to go into a debate against both of us.
If you're so seasoned, why did you have to have Prime do the research? Why couldn't you come prepared on your own? Better yet, why couldn't you have taken me on your own? Why did you have to sit there and do a debate with another person who actually knew what they were talking about?
That just seems like a really bad idea.
Oh, I've already sat there and said it was a bad idea. I said I should have taken on 2 people at once. But even if somehow you try calling me out, you wanted to debate again, I would never debate people like you because there's no way to have a civilized debate with you. You can't do it. You don't even know what civilized means.
But I think the problem is that when you get all your information from troll channels, right? People that are clipping me.
Not a troll channel, so try again.
You think that I'm just going to defend everything. You think that I have no logic. Once again, they use the word fanboy, not because I like Nintendo, because I like Nintendo a lot.
No, we sit there and use the word fanboy because you accept their anti-consumer practices and how greedy of a corporation they are, and you don't care about the consumer and gamers. That's why we use the term fanboy. At least that's why I use the term fanboy, because in my opinion, that's what my definition of fanboy actually is.
They use it because they think that I'm illogical. That's the reason why they use the name. They use bootlicker and they use fanboy because they think that I'm illogical.
All right, I could be wrong. I'm pretty certain someone will let me know down in the comments, but I do not recall ever calling you a bootlicker. Again, I could be wrong, but I think you might be confusing me with someone else.
Towards Nintendo. Not that I'm logical or that I have sense or whatever. They don't respect me overall, these people. They don't, and that's fine. They don't have to respect me. Respect is earned.
Yeah, respect is earned. And the thing is, you haven't earned anybody's respect. You know, you have absolutely no integrity. You don't keep your word. You're not a man of your word. So why would anybody actually show you any type of respect?
You know what I'm saying? It's not given, it's earned. But they don't give any opportunity to earn that respect when it comes to a man-to-man debate, but whatever.
I was very respectful through that whole debate. So what are you trying to get at? And again, you showed everybody that you don't deserve any respect. Even if people were willing to give you a chance to give you respect after seeing that debate and seeing who you were, you didn't give anybody a reason to show you respect. Why should we? You're not even a man of your word.
Yes, he's disingenuous. Yes, he is. And that's maybe the reason why he deleted the post.
No, I was never disingenuous whatsoever. You know, in the other videos, I sat there and did another video where it showed how crazy you were. But you sat there and said, I made you seem crazy. But no, I don't have to. All you have to do is just let you talk and you show it all on your own. And I never said that you were illogical. I honestly do believe you know some stuff, but the thing is though, I just don't believe you care about the consumer. I think you're very anti-consumer.
I think he probably watched a lot of videos. Once again, he saw some of my vids. He probably watched the videos that other people made and like.
No, I never watched another vid of you, of someone else doing one of you. Now, after the debate I watched one of them. And honestly, I'm surprised that I didn't watch that video. I should have watched that video because it made you look even worse than what you did to me. But no, I watched some of your videos. Of course I did. I reacted to your videos. Of course I had to watch your videos. How else would I have gotten the footage to begin with?
Oh yeah, this guy's just illogical, blabbering, you know what I'm saying, hothead.
Well, I never claimed that you were illogical, but here, and I never claimed that you were disingenuous, actually. You made the assumption that I was thinking that. But here, I will actually agree. I do believe, in my opinion, you are disingenuous. Hothead? Most definitely. All you have to do is watch your streams and people will see that.
That just rants on his streams and is just irrational fanboy. Yeah, whatever.
I mean, you do go on rants. You're literally ranting about me. In this whole live stream, there have been literally 2 sections where you have gone on these long tangent rants about me. So how does this not show what you're saying right now? If you're trying to prove that you don't do this, you're doing a very piss poor job.
You know, that I think that's what he probably thought. Same thing with Prime, right? If you look at the videos, you look at what Prime says sometimes, you think, oh, he's just a fanboy. He's not logical.
No, I've never said that about Prime. I've actually sat there and said Prime actually knows the stuff. Prime is actually very smart. I've even sat there and said that Prime brought facts to that debate. Unlike you did, Prime actually came prepared. So no, now I have said he was a fanboy, which I do believe he is one.
Dude, Prime can be very logical. Absolutely. Like, Prime's
very true. So why do you keep bringing Prime up? What does Prime have anything to do with this? Why do you think? See, this is how I know you don't watch my videos, because when have I ever said that Prime wasn't a logical person?
Like, people make fun of him. Hell, I joke around a little bit too, but like, the dude knows what he's talking about. He researches, he puts the time in.
Nobody says that he doesn't. Usually when I make videos, 9 out of 10 times, with you, I'm making a little bit of a special case right now, but usually when I make videos, it's when people sit there and bring up something that's anti-consumer and support it. That's when I make a video. Now with you, you just keep going on these long tangents about me, and you had to attack my family. So yes, with you, it is a little personal right now.
Once again, you don't become a content creator on this platform for 10 years plus. For 10 years, you doing something right. If you got 100K plus subs.
You know, you love to brag that you've been on here for 10 plus years and you have a little over 100,000 subscribers. How about we use some examples here? How about RGT85? His channel has been around for a little over 10 years, just like yours, and he has over 500,000 subscribers. Or how about Switchforce? His channel has only been here, I believe, for like 4 years, and he has over 400,000 subscribers. Sorry, Switchforce has been around for 8 years, not 4 years, but still been around a little shorter than you and has over 400,000 subscribers. How about Wood from Beat 'em Ups? He has 1.8 million and he's only been around a little longer than you have. He's been around for 12 years. You've been around for 11 years. We can go with Austin John Plays also, who has 2.4 million subscribers and his oldest video is 8 years. And I'm not trying to downplay your success. To get to like 130 subscribers is a very big thing, but stop trying to, like gloat about your channel, make it seem like you're this big superstar when you're really not.
and you do a news channel and people still actually watch you news, like in 2025 when there's YouTubers and there's everybody in the world that's talking about news.
Yeah, but you claim that you do a news channel, so how could you not remember any facts from all the news you've done? Why in that debate did me and you have to go around in circles? You couldn't disprove what I said, and Prime had to come in and spit facts for you to actually use something. How can you sit there and claim you're a news channel, but you still couldn't remember any facts that you covered on?
To go against two motor mouths that have been on the platform for a decade, that takes a lot of cojones, man. That takes a lot of bravery. Like I said, I think it's a little bit of I would say stupidity.
You know, I was actually going to say thank you and accept it, but this is like one of those things like you act like you give someone some props or a compliment, but it's something more than a backhanded one.
Not that he's stupid, but a little bit of stupidity on his part, a little bit of...
That made absolutely no sense.
But I'd also say there's also brave, like he's not backing down, right? And he's calling people out. So, I mean, you got to give him credit for that, but that's about it.
Thank you. At least I'll accept that last part, sitting there saying that I'm brave for sitting here stepping up, but you still love to sit there and point out that I'm stupid.
You know, that's about it. I'll give him credit for. But outside of that, and he took down the post. I didn't want him to. I didn't tell him to take down the post. I just want to make sure I didn't tell him to take down the videos or anything like that.
I agree. He did not sit there and tell me to take it down. I took it down because it was the right thing to do.
He took them down himself. He said he's going to take them down to me. I said, I don't care. I literally told him in a DM. I was like, yo, man, I don't care.
Really? You really sat there and sent me a DM saying that you didn't care after I sent you that? Well, I'm looking at my DMs currently right now, and guess what? There is no message after what I sent you. So it's either you're full of it or it didn't sit there and get sent through. Now, I'm going to sit there and probably go on a limb and say you're full of it. And you say I like to misinform my audience.
Yeah, I don't know. He's still calling you and many other fanboys changing targets with his videos now. That's fine. That's fine. You know.
What do you mean I'm changing targets? I don't do videos strictly on Player Essence and Nintendo Prime. Before that debate, I only ever did 3 on Player Essence. Now I did, I think, like 18 on Nintendo Prime because I knew about Nintendo Prime longer than Player Essence. But Nintendo Prime isn't even my most reactive person. That is Harmon Smith. That shows that you don't watch my videos or know what you're talking about.
The word has no more meaning. The word has no more meaning. It really doesn't. To me, it doesn't.
If that was true, then you wouldn't have gotten triggered at the end of the debate. At the end of the debate was over. So you sit there and said a little bit earlier, because I cut it out, you sat there and said after the debate. So then why? Technically at the end of it, it was already over. So then why did you get triggered at the end of the debate? Because I called you a fanboy in a previous video. Why are you sitting here acting like this all now? Why couldn't you kept that same energy after the debate when the debate was over with?
So if somebody calls me that, just like bootlicker, fanboy, what does it mean? If people run away from debates from you but call you bootlicker, what does that mean? Or if they call you fanboy, what does that mean? It doesn't really mean anything more to you.
Oh, yes, it does. Okay, I guarantee you some people are going to continue to call you that, and you're going to get triggered like you always do.
You can't be a big fan of Nintendo and not be called that. By the way,
no, RGT85 sits there and is a huge fan of Nintendo. He calls out Nintendo, so I wouldn't sit there and call him a fanboy. From what I heard with Arlo's a huge fan of Nintendo, but he's fair and he actually calls out Nintendo. You, on the other hand, do not.
Like, if I'm a bigger content creator that's called me names and they say, oh, you should debate him. I know that because people are rushing to other content creators saying that they should debate me. If I'm watching that debate, I'm saying, no way, Jose.
You know, I don't know if they're actually saying that, but they might be, but not for the reason that you think it is. If someone's watching that debate, they're going to look at you, and if they sit there and watch it the whole thing entirely, because the debate's supposed to be a civilized debate, you show that you can't have a civilized debate.
No way in hell. Those two guys are concise.
Well, Prime was. You, on the other hand, no.
They are logical. They'll be calm.
Okay. I know that he's just joking around. Did you literally just say that they're calm? You were not calm really at all. Halfway through the debate, everybody can see you were starting to get triggered and annoyed. And logical, Prime was logical. The only reason why that you were somewhat logical was because Prime had to come in, spit facts for you to work with. If he never would have sat there and gave facts and tried to move the conversation along, we would have continued to go around and around and around in circles. So you were not being logical like you're saying you are.
They will research. They will come prepared. They will know what you said about it. Like, I'm saying no way, Jose.
I mean, still, we're all still waiting for you to prove that you came prepared. What research did you do? You know, Prime said that he didn't even have to come prepared to research. He was able to spit facts off of memory. You couldn't even do that, and you claim that you're a news channel. So, number one, you didn't come prepared. All you did was watch my stuff. You didn't come prepared to rebuttal anything I had to say. But you claim you're a news channel who speaks on Switch 2 News, but you weren't able to even counteract any of my arguments.
Because like I said, I will research.
Why didn't you research?
Or I will get someone to research for me.
Oh, trust me, that is very believable. You showed that in the debate. Because if you would have researched and came prepared, you wouldn't have had to need Prime to come in and spit facts. You could have spit your own facts, but unfortunately you didn't.
I'll get someone else to research and then I'll study from the notes.
Or you won't research at all and you know that Prime will come prepared and you'll just leech off of him.
Oh man, I'm joking. I don't think nobody researched for me. Maybe.
Trust me, everybody knows that you didn't come prepared. Everyone can tell that Prime sat there, knew what he was talking about because you had to leech off of him. Well, that's it for my reaction. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or not. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant.